Hey everyone, welcome to my C++ programming series. In this first video, I'm going to tell you how to install C++ compiler as well as Codeblocks, which is an IDE that we're going to use for writing our programs and then compiling them and then running them. So let's start. Okay, now we're going to install G++ compiler. First of all, before we even begin installing G++, we need to update our system. Since I'm using Linux, I'm going to run few commands that are going to do that for me. So if when you open this terminal for us, and if you can't find it, just go over here and then type terminal. It is over here. Okay, and okay, now we are going to run our commands. So we will write sudo apt update. We have written sudo. This is to give a command the privileges to actually make some changes on our system. It's an administrative privileges. If I remove this thing, then you can see that it's going to say that this log that it doesn't have permissions, right? Permission denied. So instead of just writing it like this, I'm going to add sudo over here. So it will ask me for the password. When I do that, it's going to update my system. It's going to fetch some packages and install them. See, all of my packages are up to date. Yours might not be, so it will take some time depending on your system and your internet connection. Okay, the next command that we're going to use is upgrade. So see, again, my system doesn't need to upgrade anything or any packages, which is fine, but yours might, so don't worry if it looks different for mine. Okay, so the next command that we're going to use is we are actually going to install something, but instead of installing G++ directly, we are going to use install build essentials. This is kind of required. I mean, you can skip it, but I would not recommend that you skip this package. So we will install this package now, and it's asking me, do you want to continue? I would say yes, and let it install now. So all done. So the next command we are going to use is G++, which is actually going to install now. Here you go. Since my system already has G++ set up, it's not going to install it again. It's telling me that G++ is already the newest version for me, but yours might need to install something for your C++ compiler. And just to test it, like whether it's really installed, we can just run this command. It's going to show us. It is going to show us like what is the version that we have installed on our system. So as you can see over here, this G++ 5.4.0, which is fine. Yours might be different if you are running this command at a later stage, or I don't know, it depends on the system as well as your version of Ubuntu as well, or Linux, or whatever platform that you on. Okay, so moving on, we are going to now install Codeblocks. So this is the link to this to get the Codeblocks from online. I'll put this description. I will put this link in my description as well, so that you guys can follow along. Go to binaries. We don't want to install everything from scratch, so we will use the binaries that they have set up for us. And we are going to install 17.12, which is the latest version that we have. And since I'm on Linux, I'm going to use this instead of Windows. Let's go over there. See, since I'm using Ubuntu, it's based on Debian, so I'm going to go for stable. You can go for testing as well, which might have. It's not compulsory. It depends more like when you are trying to download this. The testing ones have the newest features, but I would recommend that you stay with Debian stable. Okay. So now as you can see over here, there are like 4 different versions. Like which ones do you want to install, right? As you can see over here, it's 17.12 and it's 17.121, and this is the latest ones. And I'm going to go for its AMD 64 since my system is 64-bit. I'll go over here, and it will take some time to download. But since I already have it installed, I will just not download it again. Okay, and once this system, this file is downloaded, you can go to your downloads, and here it is. First of all, this is an archive file, so it's zip. It is tar.xz, right? And this is the Linux version of zip. So you can also have zip over here, but since we are on Linux, it's start.exe. Now I'm going to extract this. I'm going to right click and see extract here, and we have done. Uh, when I open this file folder, you can see there are a lot of Debian packages. Debian packages are packages that are based that are used to install some packages on the Debian based systems. Since Ubuntu is one, we are going to use .db files, and as you can see there are a lot of them. Like which one to use actually? We are going to use just two of them. I will maybe in the later videos I might tell you like why we're not going to use all of these, or we might use them but at a later stage. Okay, so but before we move on to this, I would like to tell you like if you go to your Ubuntu software, this is the default package manager kind of thing where you can download some softwares uh, for Ubuntu, and as you can see over here there are like a lot of them. But if you search for Codeblocks over here, right, and if you click over here, it will show you that this is 13.12, but the latest one service, the version that we have downloaded is 17.12. If you install this one, it is going to install the older version, but we want the latest one, right? So just go over here, and first of all, instead of installing this simpler one, we will have to install common. Otherwise there might be some packages that are missing, and it will not allow us to install Codeblocks. So just double click on this one, and as you can see, here it is. So it's 17.12, right? This is the one that we want to install. This is Codeblocks common, and just press install, and it might ask you for your administrative password. Then you just enter your password and authenticate it, and wait for some time. There you go. Now it's installed. But as you can see over there, it's writing 13.12 plus DFSG. Don't worry about it. Like it's not actually this version. It is the 17.12. So just ignore this one. And the second package that we're going to install is this one. This is just a simple 17.121, and just open it with the same. There you go. This is the actual editor that we are going to install now, and we're going to press install. Just wait for a few seconds, and it's done. So you can now launch this from here. If you start it, here you go. You can see that it's release 17.12, so that's the correct version that we have installed. Just to double check, just go to your help and just press about. There you go, 17.12. So this is the correct version that we have installed now. But the thing is, like, Codeblocks needs to have a connection with C++ compiler, right? And we have already installed G++. So just to see whether it has really made a connection or not, just go to your settings, go to your compiler, and in your global compiler settings, go to toolchain executables. There you go. This should already be filled if your G++ compiler or GCC compiler has already been detected by your system by Codeblocks, I mean. If it isn't, then you just press auto detect if it is already installed on your system. If it is not, then you can just install it, and or maybe just go browse wherever it is installed, and then compiler's installation directory is. Okay, now we know that Codeblocks has GCC compiler actually connected to it. Now we're gonna make some changes in the compiler settings. So go to compiler settings and go to compiler flags. First of all, we want to have this thing selected. This is have G++ follow the C++11 ISO C++ language standard. This is just a flag that is going to be that is going to allow us to make use of C++11 standard. We will discuss these standards in the later video. For now, just tick this. And if you go down, you will see in the warning section that you should enable all common compiler warnings. This is just because we want to be able to see what is happening inside when we are compiling. If there are some issues, or if we are writing some wrong code, or maybe if we are writing some outdated code, we should be able to have some of these we should be able to see these compiler warnings over here. So once we are done over here, you can just press OK. So just to test this out, we're going to make a new project. If you go to your new, then project, and this is just going to be an empty project, or maybe we can just make a simple console application. That's fine as well. Go there, gonna make, and this is C++, and let's give a project title. Let's call it test, and I'm gonna select this. It should, okay, we can do it over here. It's fine. Let's go to this document. It's going to be test.cpp. cpp is like a Codeblocks project, and we're going to go to next, and it's already detecting the GNU/CC compiler, and go next, and here we go. It's made. And if you go over there, see that there's a main.cpp file in this section, and there's already some kind of written code over here, which is just a standard hello world program. And if you run this, instead of running it directly, we need to build it first, and we will discuss these steps later on, but for now just press this button, build and run, and there we go. That's it for the video. In the next video, we are going to discuss what C++ is and how we're going to use it properly, and then we'll start from there and go in depth and see what kind of features that are available to us and how to make some programs, cool looking programs, or some algorithms, data structures, and all of those things. But don't worry about it, we're going to keep it really slow and go from there. Okay, give it a like, subscribe, and if you have any questions, do leave them in the comments, and I'll go through them and try to help you guys. Okay, see you in the next video.